What is up, YouTube? Zuki M1 here, and I am back with a brand new YouTube video. Today we're going to be going over my Eosmon deck. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Make sure to hit me with the like and subscribe button, and yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So we are running 4 copies of the Eosmon egg. It has the effect: while this Digimon is suspended, it gets 1000 DP. So really great tool to be able to control the game once you get to your bigger Eosmon stack, because then that Eosmon will be just slightly bigger, and sometimes that 1k does make a world of a difference sometimes. Next, we're running 4 copies of the BT6 Morphmon. It has the effect: on deletion, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck and add a I don't know how to pronounce their tamer's name, but basically add their tamer for the Eosmon strategy and 1 Digimon with Eosmon and name, and add it to your hand. Just a really great way to be able to deal some damage and get something out of it dying. And if they don't die in security, obviously you can just continuously just keep attacking over and over again. You can also combo it with this I think it's Manea. I think it's Mania or Manaya. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry, I don't speak Italian. But yeah, you can combo it with this. Well, no, you can't, because it's not Eosmon in name. So that one is a little bit rough. You can't really combo it in your deck naturally, but you can just constantly just deal a point of damage with this thing, and when it dies you get some type of value out of it. So it's just a really great aggro tool early on. You can just slam it, and if it dies, cool, you still get the effects, and if it doesn't swing, it's probably going to die because it only has 1k, and then trigger the effect that way. Next, we are running 4 copies of the BT17 Morphmon. It has the effect: when this Digimon digivolves into an Eosmon, reduce the Digivolution cost by 1. So built-in value right there, right? Allowing you to climb up your Eosmon stack very, very fast, because this allows you to reduce the cost by 1. And then if you're digivolving into the BT17 Eosmon, the level 4, it'll play out either another Eosmon or play out one of your tamers for a reduced cost of 2. So you can get her out for 2, or you can get your Emperors out for 1, or you can get the other copy of the tamer for 1, or you can get out your Hokoto. I think it's like Hokoto. I think that's how you say it. But yeah, so this card this branches into a lot of different things for you. So it's really, really good in that regard. And then it also has an incredible inheritable, where if you if another Eosmon is played, this Digimon can digivolve into an Eosmon in your hand for the reduced Digivolution cost of 3. So that's insane value. Once again, just allowing you to climb up your stack extremely fast. So if you went Morphmon into the BT17 Eosmon level 4 and you played out this Eosmon, you can play out the tamer and trigger this effect to go into your level 5. So you essentially did, for a total of roughly 3, you were able to digivolve into a level 4, play another level 4, and play out a mem fixer for the cost of 3 memory. Right, the 1 memory to digivolve into the Eosmon, and then the 2 memory to play out the tamer, and then, you know, digivolving into one of your level 5s. So a lot of value right there for just 3 memory. Next, we are running 4 copies of the promo Morphmon. This card is absolutely crazy, and at one point it was like $32. I don't think it's that price anymore, but for you guys who don't know, it has the effect: on play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add a Eosmon and the tamer. So you get to do this effect without having to die, basically, and then add those to your hand. Then if you do, you can attach the Morphmon to the bottom of one of your Eosmon, and then you can play out your tamer for free. And once you do, you can trigger one of the other effects of the when Digivolving to play out a Morphmon to not Morphmon, one of your Eosmon, to allow you to reduce the Digivolution cost by 3 again. So both of these two allow you to reduce the Digivolution cost by 3. So again, just a very quick climbing and a lot of swarming coming out from this package. Next, we're running 4 copies of the BT6 Eosmon. It doesn't have a one Digivolving effect. It only has the on play, so you primarily want to save these, but obviously you're not going to always have the opportunity to do so. So majority of the time, you're probably just going to Digivolve this in the back if you don't have any other 4s. Otherwise, on play, you may play one of your white tamers from your hand, the play cost of 4 or less, without paying the memory, and then your opponent can play a tamer from their hand without paying the memory. Now you may be wondering, now why would I give my opponent, right, a free tamer to play? Well, in the Eosmon strategy, you're allowed to be able to control their tamers with your tamer. She doesn't allow their tamers to unsuspend during their unsuspend phase. So the first time they tap their tamers, that's it. They're tapped for the rest of the game. So for a lot of tamers, as you know, they get their value out of tapping them and then untapping them. If you keep them suspended throughout the whole point of the game, you only get their passive effect. So for instance, if it's a mid fixture and they had an additional effect like Structure That Mat, you wouldn't be able to tap him again to gain that additional memory for discarding a card from your hand. Or Tie from the Structure That, you wouldn't be able to tap him to draw 1 and gain 2k for redirecting an attack or something like that. So a lot of times those things do hurt quite a bit. Like if you're going against a Shoto Kaizuma strategy and they need to try to set up moms, their Shotos will be completely shut off after the first initial turn. So every turn after that, it loses more and more value for them, right? So you don't mind giving them the free tamers because they're only going to use their first effect at one time, and then after that, they won't be able to do anything other than use their passive effects, the ones that doesn't matter if they're suspended or unsuspended. And the inheritable is when attacking, you may play a white tamer with the 4 cards or less in your from your hand without paying the memory cost. This one doesn't allow your opponent to play one, so this is a great way to be able to slam a lot of your tamers for free without having to necessarily share that resource with your opponent. So there are ways to prevent your opponent from being able to gain any type of real advantage outside of, you know, you setting yourself up in those situations of, oh well, if I do have to do this, I can still control their tamers in this deck. Next, we are running 4 copies of the Eosmon from BT17. I know I kind of briefly touched on this already, but it does have some other effects that are pretty useful. So when Digivolving, if it's your turn, you may play a white tamer from your hand for a play cost of 4 or less, or play one of your level 5 Eosmon from your hand for the cost of 2. And then if you do, your opponent may play a tamer from their hand without paying the costs. So similar to the original version, but slightly different, right? This allows you to continue to extend your board, or to be able to play out free resources from your tamers and things of that nature while setting yourself up for the following turn. And then it also has the new thing that you're trying to accomplish with the Eosmon deck, which is once per turn, when your opponent Digimon attacks, you may switch the attack target to one of your Eosmon. Now, the new Eosmon strategy is really just a control and chip, control and chip, control and chip, right? Not a lot of damage coming out from this deck. but a lot of control, from Tamer control to Digimon control to a lot of popping, de-digivolving, right? There's a lot of different forms of control within this deck, and we're going to try to cover all of that within the video. But know that when you're playing an Eosmon strategy, you're playing it solely to control the pace of the game and control what your opponent is trying to accomplish. Next, we are running 4 copies of the level 5 from BT17. All of them share the name Eosmon, so there's no point in me constantly saying Eosmon. But the level 5 from BT17, it has the effect on play / when digivolving, your opponent may play a tamer from their hand without paying the memory cost. If they don't, then you may play a white tamer. Then you may play a white tamer with the play cost of 4 or less from your hand without paying the memory cost, and then de-digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon for every 2 tamers that's on the board. So there it goes again, right? With that, every time a tamer is on the board, you're going to gain a little bit more out of this deck, and that's kind of what you want to do, right? Control, control, control. So in this particular situation, this card allows you to be able to de-digivolve your opponent's Digimon for every 2 tamers, and it's not just counting your side or their side, it's both sides combined together. So that's why a lot of tamers are just coming out for free in this deck, because they're going to continuously say, okay, there's about 8 tamers in total, de-digivolve by 4, right? That's a lot of value coming out from just slamming this guy on the board type of thing. And then it also has the effect as well of being able to redirect, similar to the level 4 from BT17. So both of these two combined together, you'll have up to 2 redirection. But that's not how Eosmon work as a deck, right? They are allowed to be able to put multiple Eosmons in their sources. So you can potentially have up to 8 redirects on a single stack of Eosmon if you're able to put enough of those Eosmons in a source when you digivolve into the level 6. But giving you guys a little bit of a spoiler, we'll get to that point in just a few. Just know the level 5 is an extremely powerful card. A less powerful card, but still very much needed, is the BT6 level 5. It has the effect of you can have like multiple copies of this card within your deck, up to 50 of them if you want, but you're never going to run that many copies of it. As you can see, we are running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 copies. You know, give or take. You can cut that down or increase it depending on your ratios and how often you're drawing into it. I felt 7 was a sweet number for me, but obviously, like I said, you can change that to whatever you want. It has the effect of when attacking, so not on play. This is before on play was like super popular with a lot of decks, because they were trying to make it so you build up, which is why you see the 2 circles underneath them. But honestly, this should have definitely had an on play effect, but I digress. When attacking, you may play a level 5 or lower Eosmon from your hand without paying the memory costs. And then the inheritable is, during your turn, this Digimon gains 1k DP. Again, another one of those situations of it kind of matters a little bit, so that way you don't give up your stack when you attack, right? Because you can get up to about 1800. That's pretty safe numbers to be able to attack in your opponent's security without worrying about giving up your stack. So pretty good card, not anything crazy or anything like that, but it's still a very valuable card within this strategy. Next, we are running the BT6 level 6. It has the effect, when digivolving, for each tamer in play, you may place a level 5 or lower Eosmon from your trash to the top of this Digimon's Digivolution in any order. So again, there's that theme of how many tamers are on the board. So for every single tamer, you're able to put that many Eosmons into the sources. Now that's why you'll see some Eosmon lists run analog youth, because they want to mill those cards. But I always play with the impression of someone's going to kill my stack, and when they kill my stack, I want to be able to continuously reuse those resources without forcefully putting those resources in my trash unless there's a way for me to recycle those resources. Eosmon is a white deck primarily, so there aren't really a lot of support to be able to recycle those cards. There's not a lot of good options for this deck, right? Like, there's not a lot of things extra to really help push this strategy over the top. So you're really reliant on utilizing what's actually within the package itself versus trying to add or splash a lot of extra resources within this deck to make it more consistent or stronger or anything like that. Which is why you'll see some lists also run Eosmons to help you search for your pieces a lot faster. But I just found it easier for me to use the Morphmons, but you can also run the Eosmons. Those are valuable strategies, and they actually can digivolve over them for the most part. Well, no, they can't digivolve over it. I'm lying. I'm sorry. But yeah, back to the effect. It says also, if it plays 2 or more cards with this effect, delete one of your opponent's Digimons, and then for every 3 Digivolution cards, this gains +1 security. So this is how you deal damage in this deck with this guy right here. The other one is more of a control one, but this is how you want to deal damage. And I believe it gains +1 security for just 1. Yeah, no, for every 3 sources, it gains +1 security. So if you're able to put, I don't know, let's say like 10 into the sources, and there was a natural Digivolution, that'd be 5 plus the additional 10. So that's 14 sources. That will be 3, 6, 9, 12 plus 4. So 5 security checks and 1 attack. Obviously, that's the dream scenario. Not very likely to happen, but it can. And that would be the way that you would try to go for more of a OTK style of gameplay with Eosmon. But this is the only one that allows you to do something like that. The other level 6 Eosmon, it has the effect when digivolving and when attacking. So you get to trigger this effect twice. Once per turn, you may play a level 5 Allure Eosmon from your hand without paying the memory costs. And then all turns, once per turn, when one of your Eosmons is played, delete one of your opponent's Digimons with as much DP as that Digimon. And for each Tamer, all of your Eosmon gains 1,000 extra DP, but only during your turn. The big problem that I have with this card is that it's not all turns, right? When they tried to push this deck towards more of a defensive strategy, the value would have been so much more if it just allowed us to be able to have that effect all turns, and that would have just been enough right there, right? Like, I don't think it would have made this deck into like the most broken strategy ever, but I felt like it would have definitely made it feel a lot stronger into a lot of different decks, because this does struggle into the meta. Hint hint, wink wink. Not even gonna lie to you guys, it does struggle, but it can steal some games on a lot of different decks, and sometimes you're able to just set up a lot faster than your opponent, so then you're just able to just sit on a giant Eosmon, just wreaking havoc on your opponent. So there are some benefits and perks to this deck for sure. It's just very hard with the amount of support that we currently have, and also there aren't enough disruptive effects within this deck outside of the de-digivolving. Next, we are going to go on to the Tamers. I still have not figured out how to say her name, but she is the min fixture in your deck. She has the effect, if you're less than 3, she'll set you to 3, and then during your turn, when you play a Eosmon, not Digivolve, but play an Eosmon. And if you notice, this deck likes to do that a lot. So you're going to be utilizing this effect quite a bit, which is why you are on 4 copies of her, because she is your searcher. She allows you to grab another Eosmon and or a white tamer. So you got a couple different options that we'll go over in just a bit. But just know that that's an extremely powerful effect. And then what makes it even better is that she has the effect of during your opponent's turn, when they would unsuspend their tamers, they cannot. So this allows you to control your opponent's tamers to prevent them from being able to utilize their taps on their Digimons anymore. I mean on their tamers anymore. Next, we're running 2 copies of Digimon Emperor. At one point, we did run more copies of him. He was a very valuable card to have to use because Ukomons were everywhere. So you had to respect that card, and you also had to respect stuff like Patamon, Biomon, and other decks like that or whatever. So Digimon Emperor was an extremely powerful card, but now he's just used as some draw power within this deck because when a level 5 or lower Digimon is deleted, you can draw a card, and when your opponent moves a Digimon from the breeding area that's level 3, you gain 2 memory. This does stack, so if they're able to move Digimons multiple times, this will continue to trigger. It is not once per turn, and if you have 2 copies of Emperor, they will trigger both times as well. So you'll be able to gain 4 memory both times that they try to promote a Digimon from the breeding area. So when Ukomons were running rampant, this kept it in check. Obviously, the more Emperors you had face up, the more painful it was for them to utilize the Ukomon package. Next, we are going to go on to the BT17 version of the Mem fixture. Again, I do not know how to pronounce her name. On play, you can transform Morphmon or Eosmon. Thank goodness they finally made a card that allows you to use the Morphmons, because outside of the initial searching from them, you don't really get a chance to really use the Morphmons for anything in this deck at all, which kind of sucks. So yeah, this allows you to be able to discard those Morphmons to draw 2, and then once per all turns, when your opponent will try to trigger an on-play effect from one of their tamers, it doesn't trigger. And during your opponent's turn, once per turn, if they try to remove an Eosmon on your side of the board, either by deletion or by battle or something like that, you can delete one of your other Eosmons on the board instead. So this allows you to protect your castle essentially, and make it a lot harder for people to be able to remove that level 6 Eosmon. Next, we are running 3 copies of Hikoto, and he has the effect: if your opponent has 3 or more tamers, gain 1 memory. Guess what? We allow your opponent to play a lot of tamers for free. So this effect is actually very valuable, and it does pop up quite a bit. On top of the fact of all turns, when an opponent plays a Digimon, so that means by card effect or just hard playing it, if it's a level 4 or higher, you gain a memory, and then if it's a level 3, you draw a card. So what does that mean for you? This card allows you to be able to benefit off of all of the purple decks that are currently running rampant in Digimon, which allows you to play out bodies for free. Every time they play out a body for free, all turns, you will gain 1 memory. This tamer checks so many decks within the current landscape of Digimon. This is the new counter for any purple or red or any other decks that you are constantly saying, I'm so tired of these Digimons coming out being played for free, but you don't have a way to play Crimson Blaze. He is that answer now. This card is absolutely bonkers, and no one is aware of it. No one is using it. I do not understand why. This card is absolutely bonkers, because again, this is all turns, and it is not once per turn. So if they're constantly playing Digimon out by card effects, you will constantly gain a memory, and that will stack if you have multiple Hikaitos on your side of the board. So you can potentially gain up to 3 memory every single time they hard play or play a Digimon by a card effect, essentially, because that counts as being hard played, essentially. So this guy is so strong, especially in this deck, because you can play him out for free and also just gain a lot of additional draw power. And when they try to just slam a rookie past turn, you're draw a card. So he gives you a lot of resources for doing absolutely nothing, right? Just doing absolutely nothing. This guy punishes your opponent for doing whatever they were doing, and then you just gain resources for no reason at all. You did nothing and you just gain. It's so good. But that is my Eosmon list. Hopefully you guys did enjoy today's video. If you did, make sure to hit me with the like and subscribe button. I'll try to have the matches for you guys tomorrow. But in the meantime, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world. But this has been Zuki and One, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.